What's good with YouTube? You already know. Big Flacco from a Convict's Reaction, where I smash, dash, and react. Please hit the like, subscribe, comment, do all those things to help support this channel, and hit that bell notification for future fire reactions. I was wondering what I was going to do on this channel today, man, and then I seen Rascal's video, which I watched it, and it's a good video, man. I agree with about 90% of what he said. And the minor things that I disagree with, it depends on people, places, and things and situations, right? But overall, man, it was an on-time video. It was good. And sometimes videos like that are needed to give people a better, clearer understanding of what's what. Now, I like how he started out when he defined like what snitching is. And to me, okay, this is just my personal opinion, right? Snitching is anytime information is provided to some type of law enforcement or some type of court or whatnot that could potentially affect an individual, whether it's charges or whatnot. See, it doesn't mean when someone tells that automatically that what they did is going to catch someone with time. You can sit there and provide information, but yet they have no factual basis to confirm this. You may be providing hearsay information in, an interview just to try to get yourself out of the case, Oh, I heard that he was the one that stole the car, he did this and that, but you have no factual basis, which goes to basically hearsay. But yet, an attempt to snitch was there. Now, when he mentioned that someone that locks it up, that goes SMI or PC, that's not necessarily snitching, I gotta agree with him on that to a certain extent. It is definitely a cowardice act. It's definitely an act of desertion. And if someone could commit a cowardice act or desertion act, right, anything could really pretty much happen in the future, man. They're capable of doing anything if you have that type of label or title or view based upon your actions. I mean, back in the days, we were told that we were not to speak about any type of North Daniel business. We weren't even to say we were North Daniels. You were not to admit that you were Structure, you were NF. You were not even allowed to admit that they existed. And if you did, it was viewed kind of almost in a snitching fashion, All that stuff is not supposed to ever be discussed. It's supposed to be kept on the shelf and not put out there. Okay, that's always been like that. Now, I know things have changed. Now you got dudes who come off the bus and they tell you whether you're active or inactive. Back in the days, you weren't able to do that. You were supposed to try to go to any linea and do what you had to do and handle your business. I'm going to show you how dry snitching could really affect someone's life, right? So, you got individuals talking recklessly on the tier, okay, in person, within any type of earsight, right, about someone who's potentially getting high or doing big things. The cop gets this information. Now, these dudes aren't deliberately snitching, right? But yet they're putting it out there to where it can be heard, and they know it's being heard. Next thing you know, that cell gets hit based upon that information. Now, what about an individual that people are saying that they're doing this and doing that? Okay, putting out their business where it doesn't need to be put out there. Okay, next thing you know, their house is getting hit based upon the information that they're putting out there, or they're allowing, or they're insinuating. See, there's a lot of people who will insinuate certain things and they'll drop it in videos. I've seen it numerous times just about me. And a lot of it's false. That's the funny thing about it. But people want to run it. And people know exactly what they're doing. They know that could affect, stuff out here on the streets if they're watching. They know it could affect a prosecutor who watches these videos if they want to do a plea deal. There's a lot of things that people don't realize. When you speak bad about someone, or you put labels, or you put titles, it could affect them. Okay? You're not necessarily directly snitching like, hey, whoa, whoa, whoa. But when you do things and insinuate, right, there could be adverse effects. That's dry snitching. There was a video that I had pre-shot maybe about 2 weeks, a month before it was actually dropped, okay? And it was with another channel. And during this time frame, I had just came off of COVID, right? And I'd also just came off of going into a center, okay, to get back on the right track. And so for months, I was really basically fighting a monkey. It was hard. It was one of the worst things I had to experience, and that's why, like, about, a couple weeks ago, I dropped a video with me showing my face and showing everything, like, okay, look, I'm looking totally different than I was at that time. I was going through some shit, and I was trying to maintain it and going the right route about it. But people will still assume and insinuate stuff. You know what I'm saying? Now, I haven't been showing face in my videos for a long time just because of all the BS and sometimes accusations, right? But you had people without me showing my face that were making accusations of Scante. Man, you guys had it all wrong. I had detoxed off the fentanyl, and I was affected by that for months after. Bad, okay? I don't think anybody understands how bad fentanyl is. And I was going through the withdrawal stages, and it was, for months. I had COVID when I came off it, right? Got sick, lost a lot of fucking weight, never was able to really come back. With everything else that was going on, it was very stressful times. And that video was used during the time period when I'm kicking the withdrawal still from fucking fentanyl. To see people just put a label just to put it because that's what people want to do. I wasn't acting all irrational and all over the fucking place in the videos. I'd do one when I could, but it took a while for me to get better, and I say probably March I started really feeling better recently. Let's get to this part right here. Someone used those videos to kind of try to draw me in and how I was looking at the time, right? Which was looking like shit, okay? To sit there and let other people put a title and label that I was on fucking Scante and all kinds of shit, knowing that I have a fucking case that is coming up going to trial. All that stuff could be used basically against me, and people know that. Whether it's going to be a hearsay situation, no, it's going to be people are talking and discussing it. The DA is going to refrain from offering any type of deals because this is what they think maybe is what's going on. Now, that same information could affect one's relationship, personal life, job, and other things, based upon them allowing it to be insinuated, because that's their agenda. The agenda is to basically assassinate one's character, make people believe that this is who they are or what they're doing. See, snitching isn't always going to affect you legally, but it can affect you in other forms or fashions. And the fucked up thing about it is the info that was being put out there was all false. None of it was true, but some people were running with it, dropping comments and doing all that stuff. I just avoided it. I ignored it because I already seen what happened when I just voiced my opinion on something, right? Which I didn't take no shots at anybody, didn't even mention their names, but they started to do all this stuff to try to make me look bad and that I was this and that, and even I heard a reference, well, you're going to see prison and all that. What is real about that? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, snitching is something that's broader than what people always realize. Now, can you imagine someone insinuating something, right, that allows it to be put out there, and the next thing you know, my place of residency gets hit, where I'm clean in what I'm doing, but there's other residents in the house that maybe are not doing things. Therefore, your actions affected them. See, there's more to this than people realize. Like I said, actions, they always have a cause and effect. If you don't have a righteous cause in why you're doing something, but you're trying to affect somebody, you're no better off than the next man who is straight snitching. Now, Rascal explained it right, that there's a lot of things that can't be used. Hearsay. If you're speaking on what you've heard, and you're not directly exposing the source, or you're not directly involved personally, anything that you say maybe on any type of video, right, cannot be used against an individual. But if you're putting out certain stuff, it could be used as a catalyst to investigate and pry and open doors into an investigation. Now, Rascal's right. A lot of times, law enforcement know more than us about these individuals, who's doing what. But as a content creator, myself, I've kind of stepped on back from putting out too much information from time to time, right? Because sometimes we're putting out information, and to us, it's not telling because we're not really exposing the true, essence of what they're doing. We're just breaking down what's being alleged. Okay, so you got to walk a very, very careful line when you even discuss things like that. Like I said, anybody who does something to inform or expose one's business to where it can have an adverse effect, That's basically what snitching is. It doesn't always have to be a court case. Let's get that out the fucking way. You could be talking about someone's fucking relationship, their spouse, and putting out information that's going to affect that relationship. You're basically informing, providing information to affect that, to have those consequences. It may be on the job site. You tell this information just so this person is affected. So there's different layers to this. Now, a lot of times we're talking about the prison jail sense to where, the consequences. You got those that maybe rat, inform, decide to cooperate. Like I said, there's different layers to this. But at the end of the day, it's all the same. I've seen debates about child molesters. People, testifying or turning them in. Is that snitching? Right? I've seen people bring up even law enforcement. Yet there's been a lot of individuals who have told on law enforcement. Some people feel it applies to them, some people don't. It depends upon your group, and it also depends on your personal belief. I've seen people, get busted with, straps or knives, and they're questioned in interrogation. Well, why did they have the knife or why did they have the gun? And the first statement they said was because, oh, this gang rushed me. Oh, this gang jumped me. Oh, they pulled a gun on me. In a lot of gangs' eyes, that's considered snitching too. You're providing information about a group that could be investigated and probed and have consequences and adverse effects. I still think that when people PC up, that a lot of times they're going to ask you, who do you have to have keepaways from? And they're going to basically give a group, or even an individual from time to time, right? But a group. I can't be around actives or active northerners, and whatever they tell these classification officers, what they tell them, But at the end of the day, it's still telling, because you're telling and providing information on another group, period. So people are gonna have little debates about that, but a lot of times it's because they've done that. I'm from a heyday when back then you didn't say who you could go to the yard, you just went to the yard. You know what I'm saying? And if it was with the opposition or with whoever, you handled your business. That's why I said those who commit cowardice, desert type acts, right? They may have never told yet, right? On anybody. A lot of times they never were put in position to tell on anybody yet, right? But a coward and a deserter, right? Or one who always turns his back on anybody he associates with is the one you always got to watch, because they've already proven to be a coward and deserter a lot of times even before battle happened. What's going to happen when they're really tested? More than likely, a lot of these individuals are going to flip if this situation presents itself. Snitching doesn't always have to be towards individuals. How many times have we heard that, oh, this guy took it from the inmates? Why? Because motherfuckers were snitching to the police. Exactly. You get what I'm saying? So remember, it's like I said, anytime you're trying to provide information or get information out there, however you do it, to affect another individual or a group, you're basically either snitching or dry snitching. There's no way around it. All you gotta do is look at the YouTube yard, right? The YouTube yard, YouTube regimen, old school shit, right? And you can tell how favorites are played, how people pick this slit politic on YouTube, how they have the mob mentality, the bully, all that shit comes into play, man. And you can just tell what their true intentions are, man. Like, I don't say a lot because, I got other stuff I gotta worry about from time to time, right? And I know the little PC kid games people like to play. But it's kind of fucking crazy when you got those that really have nothing to stand on as far as any resume, right? Within this thing, right? As far as the active side, the lucha, the carnales, the NF, really have the fucking that much energy to really worry about everything that you did or didn't do, because apparently they'll deflect everything that is proven about you and question it, but anything that they feel, what I'm saying, is stamped, which a lot of times it ain't stamped, right? They'll run with that shit just because it's personal, man. People make things personal because that's on them. A lot of times it's because they're insecure in their own self. So therefore, to make themselves look bigger and better, they go after everybody else. Now, don't get me wrong, there comes a time when you have to stand up for yourself and do what you do. But you got some people just looking for it, and in doing so, they're not even looking at their own actions, how they conduct themselves, or what they're doing. They're blinded by it. Look at the situation with Lefty Gunplay, right? Right after the incident on Hood Stops. What did he say on the Hater World? I mentioned, I did a video reaction to it, right? That right there, you're gonna tell me couldn't potentially have adverse effects? Man, come on, man. Most definitely in California it could, man. I don't even have to discuss any details because he discussed it for us. And if you don't think law enforcement ain't watching, they're tapping into stuff like that. They're getting information. You know, I've been transparent about my past off top because I know that if you don't do it from the get-go, people are always going to question it. Now, you got those that are going to sit there and try to fucking, counterattack it and try to minimize it, right? Or you got those that are going to accuse of embellishing, right? But most of these dudes don't know shit. Most of those dudes weren't in these trenches. Most of those dudes don't have contacts that were everywhere, right? And some of the people that do provide information a lot of times are haters themselves. I get that kind of information about people all the time, and I can tell it's people hating, so I never run with those type of stories. Because why? Why am I going to dig in and be part of the problem? Now, if it gets carried away, of course you're going to stand up for yourself, right? But people found this notion that this YouTube stuff is just about exposing this and exposing that. And a lot of times, people aren't even exposing it anymore. They're just providing their input. And their input is always to be negative. It's always to look at the other side as far as being untruthful, not credible, right? And make themselves look. Now, I like the homie Hangouts video, right? And I'm not one of those ones that took it personal, or made it seem it was just about me or anything like that. I know there's probably others that do. But what I do get frustrated about, right, is those that, try to push those line up on people who have their own fucking dirty laundry they should be worried about, man. Who have their own actions that are questionable. And when they do so without being provoked, Now, I get it. We're in the social media age, which means that a lot of stuff that's being discussed, right, would have really been considered snitching back in the days. Let's just keep it 100. A lot of stuff people have discussed on here would have been considered snitching. Anytime you would discuss even a basic profile, it's considered snitching. Anytime you talked about an individual involved in your activities with you, it'd be considered snitching, because you never know if they're going to come back for another new case and that they're going to potentially draw from this. Oh yeah, this is what you're doing with this person, that person. Yeah, here's some information, but prosecutors are going to push what they can push. This is the funny thing, right? Why are people so worried about it? Seriously, if it doesn't affect them, why should someone worry about what one did? Were you worried about what happened to this homeboy's wife or this homeboy's sister or my wife? Probably not. Or my ex-wife? Probably not. So why be up in someone's business worried about judging them? That's what I don't get. Because we already know 99% of the people who talk ain't going to do nothing about it. We know that for a fact. Those are just clear, hard facts. So why worry about what the next man did and why he did it? It's not your life to live. You're intruding on a life that doesn't have any type of effect on yours, or shouldn't have any type of effect. The only other alternative is this. Motherfuckers hate, straight up. That's the only other thing I could think of, right? Is people want to hate. They want what you've been able to achieve. They're trying to get there. And if they can knock you down along the way, they're going to try to do so. This topic's been on my mind because I've seen how a lot of people will react to certain things without knowledge or without proper information. And, I witnessed what people's intentions are. You don't lose your training. You don't lose that skill set just because, you're no longer actively in the mix. I observe things all the time, and I keep it to myself. Whereas in the past, I felt like I had to, defend every angle that was being attacked because I knew I was being attacked with bullshit. And we've seen how that worked out, right? So, with everybody else, right, this is the key thing, right? The word snitch is a very serious word in a lot of people's circles. A lot of people don't understand the ramifications behind it. People will pick and choose how it applies, which is very dangerous. And it all comes down to one thing: favoritism. Who you like, who you rock with, and that's it. That's all it comes down to, man. Because there's shit that has been going on YouTube that I take a step back, I'll be like, what the fuck is going on, man? Is this real? Is this really happening? And it just amazes me, and to each his own. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's easier to make content about other people when you're criticizing them or you're trying to fucking smut them up than it is to talk about the life that you live. You know, you got people who've been on certain yards with fucking known people that have some of those nasty charges and didn't do shit about it. You know what I'm saying? Now, to me, that'd be more concerning than anything else. You know what I'm saying? Now, if anybody feels I was fucking directing any type of fucking, subliminals at you, yeah, I was probably. You know what I'm saying? But not just one person, probably multiple. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I ain't with that fakery or that fuckery, man. And, if someone's really takes a step back and evaluates things, they can see things for what they are at times. But a lot of times people don't. You know what I'm saying? The hate is real. You know, if people just minded their own and focused on what they could bring to helping others, then maybe we could get somewhere. You don't have to like every man. You don't have to respect every man. That's fine. But the same token, you don't have to attack every man. What are you getting out of it? It's been going on. Like I said, there's certain things to where people were fucking rocking and cool with me, right? Then all of a sudden they turn their fucking cheek and it's like, man, I got videos with comments of people saying this and that, and now you're talking this. That's fake. If you're gonna be one way, be it the whole fucking way around with me, man. Because you're never gonna get no fakeness when it comes to me. You know what I'm saying? Whether you agree with my actions or my past, it is what it is. And like I said, I try to respect everybody. You know what I'm saying? But respect's a two-way street. You know, some things in life that you can't teach. Either you have carnalismo, you know what I'm saying, you know how to show unity and respect towards others, or you don't. Either you know how to rock and get with it, or you don't. And no matter what side of the fence you're on, your track record, who, the what, the where, the when, the why, from the beginning is always going to be more important than the later on part of life, because things happen that people don't always have control over. Anyways, I really liked the homie Hangout's video, man. 100% it was a good one. Like I said, though, I still think there's different layers to this, though. I do feel that people will try to make others look worse than what they did because they're pretty much trying to camouflage their own actions, you know? That's just my opinion. See, that's what, as YouTubers, we're supposed to be able to do, is have an opinion without insulting or disrespecting anybody. Rascal's video, I agree with about 90%. And I'm pretty sure that there's some things that maybe he doesn't agree with that I said, and that's okay, because I don't have all the answers. I only have my own experience, my own truth, what I've witnessed. And see, that sometimes will sway our opinion on things, what we've been through personally. Okay? What we've gone through personally will affect you sometimes throughout the rest of your life. Only dudes that have really been on PC yards and SNY yards and programmed that way would put different layers to this, man. That's the funny thing. At the end of the day, everybody's all bad. So who cares? Just do what you do. And find ways that maybe you can help others. If not, you're doing it for all the wrong reasons. Once again, man, I'm one to always put myself in vulnerable states by putting out stuff out there, right? But a lot of times I do that just to show how fake others can be. Right? And how they'll try to do anything to destroy you or assassinate you or put lies upon you just because they have one goal in mind. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to do something, have your facts right. You know what I'm saying? Do a little research. Don't just go off with the whole negative point of view, because that's a view that you can sit there and do. And like I said, there's a lot of stuff that's going on the last few years of my life that would just fucking shock a lot of you guys, man. But it is what it is. There's a time and place, and we'll go there when we have to go there. That's it. I'm gone.